Hey, it's Neil, your host of a Vietnam podcast. If you know anything about me, you know I'm a massive fan of craft beer. So I'm really excited to say that we are partnered with Seven Bridges Brewing Company. Make sure you check out their newest tap room on Dong Yu Street. It's got over 40 taps of craft beer, of course including their own brews, but guest beers, and then even some wine as well if you're not a beer drinker. One of my favourite beers when I go there is their Hai Van Haze. And if you want something a bit fruitier, a bit lighter, don't miss out on the Yuzu Wheat, a really fruity and refreshing beer that won the 2023 Champion Fruit Beer of Asia. Now, one of the coolest things about Seven Bridges is their sustainability and their zero waste mission. They even turn their brewing byproducts into their signature dragon hot sauce and use the spent grain from their brewing process to make their pizza. And I'll share a secret with you. The main reason I go there is for the pizza. The slices are incredible, and there's not many places in Saigon that do pizza by the slice and then add that dragon hot sauce on top. It is amazing. Also, if you know anything about me, you know I love a discount, you know I love happy hour. So make sure you go to the Dong Yu location, which has happy hour, 30% off all draft beer from Monday to Thursday, 1 to 5 p.m. But each of the tap rooms all have their different special offers. So look them up before you go. And when you do go, make sure to let them know that I told you to go, or better still, take me with you and buy me a beer when we're there, because I love it when people buy me a beer. If you're an expat like me, you will know that finding the right health insurance can be a bit of a headache, and that's where Tenzing Pacific comes in. Being in a new country like Vietnam, look, it's so exciting, but if you know me and you've heard past podcasts, you know I never go without health insurance because it's so important and things can get tricky really fast. You need to make sure you have coverage that works both locally and internationally, and you really just don't want the hassle. So Tenzing Pacific makes it really easy. They specialize in personal health insurance for expats, and they offer plans that are customized to fit your lifestyle. And with access to a global network of hospitals and a super smooth claims process, and to me that is super important because I hate dealing with health insurance claims, then you can focus on what matters and just getting on with living your life. If you're looking for health insurance or even just a second opinion on your current plan, I would advise talking to a Tenzing advisor today. I've worked with them in the past for podcasts and at my quiz nights, and they're a really great bunch of people and their insurance is amazing. So click on the link in the description and you will get, as a Vietnam podcast listener, special pricing and, of course, top-notch services. Biscuit, are you excited? We're going to head out for brunch into Thao Dien. Are you ready? One of the big changes in Saigon over the last few years has been, the roads, because the amount of cars is insane. From when we came here 8 years ago, when I started 7 million bikes, it was all about the amount of motorbikes. And even before we got here, now there's the tunnel which just takes you straight from where we live, and from this side of the city it takes you straight into District 1, and that's been there since we got here. But we've seen pictures, and before the tunnel was built, it was just, oh shit, we nearly hit a dog. Adrie had to slam on the brake there. How close were you to actually hitting that?
Not that close, but I wasn't sure if he was going to keep crossing the road, and then he didn't.
There's a little puppy we got to watch out for. The snapshot of driving a bike in Saigon, where you have to brake suddenly for cars that come out of nowhere, other bikes, and puppies as well. And when you let Adrie drive as well, you have to get used to slamming into the back of her helmet, right?
Whatever.
Yeah, what do you call it? It was like a ferry. So they still have a ferry, like the Cat Eye ferry. You don't know what I mean? Just like drive on with your bike, it goes across the river, and then you drive off and get on the road. So those still exist. But obviously bridges and tunnels are way more effective, so they built the ferry, they got rid of the ferry, but we saw videos of what it looked like, or pictures, and so it would be like a massive bikes would all gather, then they all got onto the ferry, go across, go on their way. So obviously that's really slow now, there's a tunnel there and it's just super fast, so
They were already making changes, and then since we've been here, they've changed so many roads that used to be one way. There's another one in Bintan. It makes you laugh, the fact that it used to be a crossroad with lights, and it was just crazy to try and drive through that. So they've made loads of changes, and right now we're on Chan Now. There's been massive changes even at the bottom of this road, and it takes a long time just to build a roundabout. I don't think that's saying anything bad about Vietnam. I think every city, every country takes a long time to do public works. They've changed so much to make it easier, so now the system for cars and bikes, I find is much easier. We were talking about it the other day, there's way less honking as Adrie honks her bike, literally as I say that. There's way less honking, especially from cars. Like the other day we were driving and this car was honking, and it was actually quite noticeable, quite annoying, because most people don't really honk, and I think it's because it's way more organised than it used to be. It's actually kind of raining right now, which is weird, kind of like not the normal Vietnam rain, just like drizzle. But yeah, so even now we're just about to head up here. This was a roundabout literally like 2 weeks ago, and no bikes stopped, everyone just drove through it in a semi-orderly manner, but it would just go through it. Whereas now it's actual traffic lights, and it's just way more organised. So these are the small changes that are happening on the road. You can see it's so orderly. This used to be chaos here, right?
Yeah.
So obviously it's still kind of chaos compared to Western standards. You got to watch out for bikes going down the wrong way, taking a massive route that you don't really expect. But overall, yeah, it's definitely become way more organised now in Saigon. And obviously that was part of the charm of Saigon, and back in the day, the chaos, the craziness. But you've got it, it's definitely much better, much easier when it's organised like this. It's quite funny when you start filming. This is quite new to me. People just love waving in the background. I was at a Cum Tam place a few weeks ago that I recorded at. I haven't published that video. And people do, the guys in the background just love waving and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. So now we are into the belly of the beast. We're in Thao Dien, which again has also changed dramatically. None of this was here before. This road wasn't even here. It was like a dust road. They're putting in a child's playground. The market was always here, the traditional Vietnamese market, but this road was like a dirt road, a dust road. I vaguely remember coming along here. And then now as we turn onto Zuan Thuy, we got Ishmek, which wasn't here before, the Ishmek High School. Still got the market, it's the same. Selling the same stuff. But now when you go into Zuan Thuy, this could not have changed anymore. Again, I can't even remember. Can you remember what this looked like?
It was sleepy. It looked the same, but there were hardly any shops.
Not gonna look on the phone right now. I'm trying to make a video, so you meant to like say stuff.
So what?
Don't worry. The National Day holiday coming up. It's gonna be
Tomorrow.
So that's why all the flags are up. Oh yeah, this is just a sleepy, dusty
It's like
road.
they got some new flags.
Now it's just so different. Like look at all these really nice restaurants. Cat mats opened up. It just looks so normal now, and it's hard to believe that like none of this was here. The fireplace was probably always here. And we're gonna take a left here, but that's the other end of Zuan Thuy, which used to just be as well pretty much like one or two bars, cafes. Now, as I heard Matt Ryan describe it the other day, it's like a high street. Now we got Wok Hong. Wok Hong I feel like hasn't changed massively, but it's gonna. We just passed like a couple of nightclubs. I remember as soon as the first nightclub opened in Thao Dien, you were like, wait, there's nightclubs here? That's pretty mental. We're gonna charge our bike. Here at Soma, there's a charging station for that bike Quantum that we have, and then we're going to go for brunch and try this Oriental Snapper. I am being the person I hate. I'm being a no helmet wanker in Thao Dien because we're literally going around the corner.
So don't hate me, but don't worry, I hate myself for not wearing a helmet. It is not for aesthetic. It's not so I can keep my hair looking good, I promise. As Adrie claims, it's so we can just get
It's a bit that. It's part of that.
It's a little bit that. Make sure you go check out the episode I did with Mischa Smith where he lists his top Bloody Marys in Saigon, and the Oriental Snapper was one of them. And I can completely see why he put it on there, and I agree. It is an amazing Bloody Mary where it's made with gin, not vodka. So go check that one out.
Yeah, the Oriental Snapper was really delicious. Brunch food at the weekend, also very delicious. A great spot in Thao Dien if you are in the neighborhood, or if you're not, make the drive to Thao Dien. The weekend has a great atmosphere, whether you're sitting inside or outside. The outside is a nice garden in the back. Really pleasant place to enjoy your weekend.
So tell us about your food. What do you think of it?
The zucchini corn fritter with almond powder.
Yeah.
With mozzarella, very generous mozzarella. It's like buffalo mozzarella, like sliced. The tomato stew and rocket on the side. Really good.
One ingredient missing from the menu. I don't think you'll get it. It's a pretty small ingredient.
In the fritters?
Probably in the fritters.
I don't know what.
Mixed herbs.
Oh.
Mixed herbs, as Americans would say, mixed herbs. And then with mine.
Kind of like a fritter stack, unstacked. An unstacked fritter.
It does look amazing. Thanks for listening to this little bonus episode where me and Adrie had a bit of a field trip out to the weekend in Thao Dien to try out the Oriental Snapper as recommended by Mischa Smith. Make sure you go back and check out that episode if you want to know his best tips for the top Bloody Marys in Saigon. Season 11 is coming up very soon, so look out for that, and we're going to have more episodes about some of my favourite places to go to in Saigon, as well as back to the regular Vietnam podcast interviews, sharing stories of people connected to Vietnam. If you like this podcast, remember, please follow, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, and if you know somebody else who loves Vietnam and loves Saigon, please share this episode with them. And also, if you want to join our Vietnam podcast community, go to patreon.com/a Vietnam podcast and be part of the community. Cheers. You must love podcasts if you're listening to this. Do you want to start your own one, or you already have one? Then follow Smarter Podcasting to get expert advice from me, Niall Mackay, the podcast guy. Since 2019, we've worked with over 40 podcasters, produced over 700 episodes, and helped many podcasts get to the top of the Apple Podcast charts. And right now, I'm offering you a professional edit for just $27. Click the link in the show notes.